Boruto episode 61, The Iron Sand User Shinki. So this episode, I gotta say, was definitely entertaining. We are officially going into the really big climactic battle from the movie going into next week's episode, so I'm definitely looking forward to that. But this was a really good one. I mentioned, a million times since we started the chunin exams, this fight has not been done before in the film, so it's like, all new content. And I love the way they did it. It was kind of handled exactly like it was in the movie as far as the end of the battle was like, oh man, I can't believe it. Like, I was just about to lose, and then, I pulled out my move, not, which wasn't really his. It was even crazier in this, because I think in the movie, I feel like my power's about to go out. In the movie, I'm pretty sure it was when he fought Shikadai, and it was when he did the clone jutsu, because it was like, well, how in the world was he able to even do that when he shouldn't be able to move? Plus the fact that he could only make like 4 or 5, and then he went to, basically did like the, 30 and stuff. So it was kind of the same concept where it's like, well, that's crazy that he shouldn't be able to pull that move off. Like, he's never been able to pull off more than 4, and suddenly, poof, he whips out like 40 of them. So it was the same concept, but in this, for one, it was even cooler because he used, basically he used the purple lightning and purple Chidori. And then 2, it's just even crazier because it's like, well, not only is that not something he could do, it's not even in his like wheelhouse of techniques where he just busts out like purple lightning, like out of nowhere. Boom, purple lightning. Like, okay, yeah, he could do a bunch of clones. That's something he's been hiding. That's like a last minute move. And then he's able to make it work. But purple lightning was just like, nah, he shouldn't. That's just not a thing. He shouldn't be able to pull that off. So definitely like that. And they did a good job as far as like the emotional stuff. Because like, like I said, I knew what was coming. I was like, all right, well, Sarada gets taken down, they go through their stuff and they try to figure out what Shinki's weakness and the, using lightning style and stuff like that. And so Sarada gets taken down and then it's up to Boruto, to throw like the last hit at him. I was like, all right, I know how this is going to go because the whole point is that Boruto wins like the entire tournament and then he gets busted after the fight. And it's like, I won, like I did it. Everything's, all said and done. And then that's when Naruto comes down because he realizes like he shouldn't be able to pull that off out of nowhere, and then he grabs his hand and it's like, what's the deal with this? So I knew all that was coming, but they still did a good job with the emotional stuff where it's like, Boruto freaking out even more so. And I think they did a good job because it built up throughout multiple episodes where he had to use it on the kid with the balloons or with the bubble gum, and then he used it on Shikadai, and then it's like this whole concept of watching the kids go through and some of them win, and then when it gets down to the last 3 people in this tournament, it's like, man, I've gone through and I've seen my friends lose, and them replaying the high fives and stuff like that. I was like, that's actually a really good concept. I like the way they handled it because none of that was, of course, in the movie. It was solely focused on the Boruto Naruto relationship, which was still great. Even in the film, that was a really good thing for it. But with this, it made it even more impactful because you have that compounded with the idea of, I don't want to lose, like because of my friends, like, they lost to me or they just lost in general, and they're rooting for us as, the Hidden Leaf Village to take on this insanely powerful member from a different land. So they kind of compounded a lot of different emotions for the character. I was like, all right, this is cool. I like that they did that. It worked really well. Of course, him whipping out the purple lightning was a big surprise. I was like, well, admittedly, I just assumed he would do Chidori, which doesn't make any sense because you do have to have the Sharingan to pull it off. So it makes sense that they would just be like, all right, well, after Kakashi, of course, lost his Sharingan, he had to basically figure out a new technique that was similar to the Chidori, and it was, his purple lightning. So that was super cool. I was like, all right, well, that was awesome just to see in general because, it's purple lightning. But I was like, all right, that was super cool. Shinki was, of course, totally surprised. He knocks him out, and it's like, holy crap, he pulled out purple lightning. Everybody's like cheering and stuff. And then it gets like super dark and emotional because Naruto comes down, and Boruto's like, I did it. And, he's ready to like fist bump him. And it's just like, he's busted. And everyone's just like stunned. And they did something that, of course they didn't do this in the movie either because I think it was him versus Shikadai at the time. But it was so cool. The scene where Shikadai like stands up and he calls him out and he was like, you didn't like actually do this against me, did you? Like, like that sense of honor, he felt like totally betrayed because they're basically, in the beginning of the series before the teams came along, they were like the best friends in the show. So I thought that was really cool. I was like, I love that idea. And like everyone was just like, oh, like Boruto. And he's looking around and it's like, Shikadai calls him out and he looks over to Sada and she's just like, dang. Like everyone just like felt betrayed after like this grandstand victory against this insanely tough opponent from another land. And then it's just like people saying like you need to quit and you're a disgrace to the Leaf Village. I was like, this is really good. Like, I just like the way it was handled because there was so much more to it, because despite the fact that it's been a super long effing time, a bunch of random crap episodes, some good, some have been good, but despite all those episodes, it actually built up to something pretty decent in this like very particular moment. I was like, huh, I already enjoyed it from the movie just for the emotional element of all he wanted to do was like get his father's approval, and then it kind of compounds with him wanting the approval of his entire village and his friends. And it's not in the same vein of Naruto. It was more not the approval, I guess. It was just more not wanting to let them down. And then he does it way worse than he could have possibly done it before, because the only reason he even got to that point was because he cheated. It wasn't like he only won because he cheated. He wouldn't have even made it that far because Shikadai would have beat him a long time ago. So I love the way they handled it. I was pleasantly surprised by how emotional it got, and they were, putting in the Boruto theme, and I was like, man, they're playing some themes that are similar to Naruto. They were playing like the classic sad song from Naruto, but I was like, oh, it feels like that song, but they changed it up for Boruto. So definitely enjoyed it. Naruto taking his son's headband off, and I like the way they did it because it was like you could see his hair like slowly coming up as the headband is coming off. It wasn't like a super quick swipe motion, and it was just like that in the movie if I remember correctly. But I just love that scene, and it was just like he's slowly taking it off, and like you see his like I said, his hair coming up, and then it just droops back down, and just like that whole motion of it where it's just like it's in real time like it would be normally. It's not just he yanked it off his head. It was just like he slowly had to like rip it off, and that emotion kind of second by second sinking in is like you're disqualified as a ninja completely. And it was just good. It was very well done. And then, of course, it was just like, who gives an F about that? Finally, the main villains show up again, and I not just like when it happened, I was just like, it's legitimately about to get freaking bonkers. Like, it's about to get insane. So I'm definitely excited for this next episode. But really enjoyed this one. Had a nice little bit of emotion in the end there with Boruto versus Shinki. The action itself was definitely cool. We got to see Shinki use like the wings and stuff, which of course took it back to Shippuden with them going up with Sakura and Granny Chiyo going up against Sasori when he was using the old Mizukage. So it was just like, that's cool. I definitely like seeing it, the wings and stuff. It was just like, yep, that's old school. I guess sort of old school in a sense. But it was like, that's definitely awesome. And Shinki is like insanely overpowered, and he's like, I mean, he's an even tougher version of Gaara at this point. So it's just like, where's that gonna go? And he doesn't have Fujin Shuriki to make him go insane. He's just like powerful. So curious where that's headed for the series. But for now, we have the rest of the movie arc to go, plus whatever they're gonna do with the third villain. So I'm excited to see what they might add to the next episode. Even if they don't add anything, honestly, I'm just excited for the next one because it gets super intense. And they already showed in the promo. It goes as far as I want it to. And it might go even further. I would have to assume, unless they really drag it out, which obviously they totally could, just throw in some more dialogue, more flashbacks, or whatever stupid crap. But if they just kind of go with the movie scene, it's super fast. So I'm hoping we get some decent stuff. It'll probably end with Naruto and Sasuke, like, teaming up and stuff. Like we see Boruto, like, looking at Naruto where he's in his cloak and everything, and he's stunned. So excited. I'm definitely excited for this. The action should be sweet. Just seeing, it's been a minute since I've seen the movie. It's years actually. So definitely looking forward to seeing the action come back, even if the animation won't be as epic. Although I assume that with it being the specific scenes that's coming up for anyone who hasn't seen the movie or read the manga when they redid it, it gets insane, and I don't even know what they're gonna do for like the final battle, because that in movie form was just honestly, like, Boruto the movie is legitimately one of the best Naruto movies, which is insane. But just the story itself is great, but the action is insanely freaking ridiculous. Like, it's everything you probably would have wanted in the end of Shippuden, where it was like, oh, they're doing the final fights and stuff. It's all of that epicness in movie form. So the animation was like, well, we're only drawing this thing to be like 2 hours long or whatever. So every single moment just looks insanely epic compared to the show, or much like Boruto even, where it's like, all right, kick it up here, drop it back down here. Every single second is just like insanely beautiful, animation in the film. So once this arc is officially done and they go through the final fight, I highly recommend you guys check out the movie and just see it all over again. It'll be, like a slightly different story because they're kind of retconning it now, redoing it with the anime, which I assume they did with the manga. I still haven't bothered to read it yet, and I really need to catch up on that and just shoot through every chapter they got out so far. But definitely looking forward to the next episode. Can't wait to see what they do with the third villain and how they're gonna add in more action with his character. So definitely excited, but of course, would love to know what you guys thought about this episode. So please comment below. Let me know your favorite parts about it, your least favorite parts about it, and of course, going into the main, I guess really was like the climax of the film is where things like first start to really pop off. For you who hasn't seen it, of course, or has not read through the manga, I would love to know what you guys are expecting to see and what you guys want to see. And for everyone that has seen the movie or anything like that, I would love to know what you guys want to see added from the third villain that wasn't initially in the film because they never had time. So that's what I'm looking forward to the most, is seeing the new fights. And they show that at the end it's going to be Darody and I can't remember the one woman's name, but the new Tsuchikage. It's going to be the two of them fighting him. So I'm looking forward to that fight because that didn't exist in the film. The character wasn't even there. So definitely looking forward to the third guy showing up whenever that happens. I assume they're going to stick with all movie stuff. And then once that's done, they'll be like, oh, here's the third villain too. So that's my guess, but I don't know. But like I said, definitely want to know what you guys want to see in general, whether you've seen the movie or not, or read the manga or whatever. What you guys want to see, all the action, hopes, all that stuff. And of course, I want to know what you guys thought about this episode in general. So please comment below, let me know. And thanks for watching.